In a world where deception is currency, truth always finds its way. The Departed immerses us in this brutal reality, a landscape where death arrives without ceremony and survival depends on the lies you tell. The film's final act, a bullet to the head of a man who thought he'd escaped justice, raises the question that lingers long after the credits roll. Who connected the fatal dots? By the finale, nearly everyone who could have exposed the police mole is dead. Captain Queenan, the moral center of the operation, is thrown from a rooftop. Billy Costigan, the undercover cop who infiltrated Frank Costello's inner circle, is ambushed and shot in an elevator by Berrigan, another of Costello's rats. So who's left standing? Just two people. Madolyn, the psychiatrist caught between two men, and Queenan's protege, Dignam. Looking at who remains, the answer becomes clear. If the lone wolf who abandoned the force uncovered Costello's plant in the police, someone had to tip him off. That someone, through elimination, had to be Madolyn. But how? Let's rewind. Early in the film, Billy, desperate and cornered, gives Madolyn a sealed envelope with chilling instructions. Open this if I'm dead. At first, it seems like a classic movie prop designed to ramp up tension, but nothing here is that simple. Another envelope surfaces, addressed to the corrupt cop and hidden in his mail. Inside, a Rolling Stone CD. When played, it reveals a recording of Sullivan and Costello discussing Queenan's murder, part of Costello's secret stash of incriminating tapes. "Your guys shouldn't have done that," Sullivan says. Costello replies, "One of us was gonna have to die." Billy's strategy isn't about legal evidence, it's psychological warfare. He mails the CD to Sullivan's apartment to destabilize him, then lures him out to the rooftop for confrontation. When Billy dies, his posthumous weapon, the first envelope, becomes critical. While the film never confirms it, that envelope might have contained instructions for Madolyn to funnel evidence to Dignam, the only person left who could act. Madolyn's response is fascinating. After hearing the recording, she doesn't create a scene or confront her partner. Instead, she locks herself away, her silence speaking volumes. At the funeral, her coldness isn't calculation, it's armor. To acknowledge Sullivan would mean validating his lie, and she refuses. Every glance she avoids screams, "I know what you are." Madolyn doesn't march to police HQ waving that CD around like some naive hero. She's smarter than that. But what can she do? Storming in would get her killed. So instead, she lets the truth hang there, ugly and impossible to ignore. She stops faking smiles, stops hiding her disgust, and suddenly Sullivan's left staring at his own reflection in her eyes. And what he sees? Rot. And when the moment comes, she doesn't hand Dignam evidence, she hands him permission. Not with a speech or a file, but with a look at Billy's grave that says, "Finish this." Her power isn't in what she does, but what she stops doing, protecting a monster. But how does Dignam, a man who walked away from the force in disgust, suddenly reappear with lethal precision? He's not magical, he's been handed a roadmap. The first envelope's contents are never revealed, but its purpose is crystal clear. Maybe it explicitly names him as the last honest cop. Maybe it provides instructions for a covert handoff of the CD. His method of dealing with the traitor is telling. He doesn't make an arrest, he delivers a bullet, then leaves. This isn't just justice, it's a statement. To stop a rat, you need something more primal. But what drives Madolyn to take such a risk? Is it crushing guilt, a lingering love for the fallen officer, a desperate grasp at redemption? The film refuses to spoon-feed us easy answers, but that final scene, Madolyn walking away from Billy's grave, her hand resting protectively on her pregnant belly, suggests something profoundly moving. She's not just exposing corruption, she's fighting to ensure her unborn child won't inherit a world built on quicksand of lies. Those envelopes aren't just clever plot devices, they're a legacy, fragments of raw truth passed from a dying man to a woman willing to burn everything to the ground rather than let corruption take root in another generation. Now, let's talk about people who claim Dignam's another rat. When Queenan dies, Dignam doesn't just go mad, he breaks. He hurls chairs, screams about rats and Costello's crew, then quits the job entirely. Think about it. If he was dirty, why walk away from a prime spot where he could have leaked intel to Costello for years? Staying put would have been the smart play, but Dignam's not smart, he's furious. Killing Sullivan isn't just risky, it's practically begging for a federal manhunt. Think about it. Sullivan's a decorated sergeant. Taking him out isn't like whacking some street thug. Cops protect their own, especially high-ranking ones. The second Sullivan's body hits the floor, every badge in Massachusetts would be hunting his killer. Crime lords avoid dead cops for this exact reason. It simply brings too much heat. So why does Dignam do it? Because he's not a rat. Rats hide, rats survive. Dignam's done surviving. He's here to burn it all down. That rat scurrying across Sullivan's balcony, it's not Dignam's symbol, it's Sullivan's. The film's final joke lands here. Sullivan, the golden boy detective who spent years polishing his reputation, dies with vermin skittering past his pristine apartment. The rat isn't random. It's the film's final verdict on him. This is who you are. This isn't a story about flashy heroes. It's about quiet choices, Madolyn's silence, Dignam's bullet, the moments where regular people say, no more. Because sometimes, the only way to stop a lie is to drown it in the truth.